So the first thing to do is just notice how you're standing at the moment. Notice how things feel. So there's a few things that we can sort of pay attention to. And probably the most telling and the most useful is the breath. So how are you breathing at the moment? And as you stand and you gradually relax the body, how does the breath change? The breath is one of the most basic indications that we can use. But we can also go deeper than the breath. We can start to look at what is the mind doing. So sometimes you'll find that you get people to stand and there's this awkward thing that they do with, well, I don't know what to do with my hands. I haven't got any pockets. I can't do this. You know, it's notice what the mind's engaged in as you're standing. And then a couple of instructions. The first one is lift Bachwe, lift the crown, and it opens the neck. The stance. The other instruction we can give is sink Huelu, sink the tailbone down. And it's just to relax the tailbone and allow the whole of the spine to open up. And with that, notice how the breath is. Has it changed? No is fair. Okay, so one of my favorite ways of learning Qigong is doing it wrong. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to ask you to point your toes outwards. So stand in sort of, it's a bit like an exaggerated dancer's stance. Notice what it does to the breath. Notice how that feels. And then straighten the feet up and see if it improves it. Sort of play with the foot position. And what we're looking for is a foot position that enables the body to have as much relaxation as possible and allow the breath to travel as freely as possible. So sometimes it's good to have the toes pointing slightly outwards, sometimes slightly inwards. Just notice what your foot position is going to be. Well, what foot position is best going to support you breathing? And then allow the body just to gently sway. And as it sways, notice the bottom of the feet. Allow the weight to shift back and forth. Maybe side to side as well. Just allow the weight to move around the feet. Allow the feet to soften. And again, in the greater scheme of let's do it wrong, what happens when you shift the weight towards the heels? Don't go too far back. What happens when you shift the weight towards the front? Where's that sweet spot in the middle that the body feels as if it's relaxed? Where is that today? So we've found a posture for the legs that enables the rest of the body to relax. So now we'll go through some relaxation, some opening, and we'll start with the neck. Mobilize the neck. Soften the neck. Create some space between the vertebrae. No specific movement here. We can just explore what works best for us. And it's not about creating as much space as possible. It's about creating some space between the vertebrae. You only need a little bit of space to be created in order to make a difference. If you create too much space, that becomes a stretch, and that in turn can restrict flow. So the neck is now open and relaxed. Shift the awareness down into the mid-spine, open the shoulder blades, and then squeeze the shoulder blades. Open, squeeze. Continue. Just mobilizing the shoulder blades, opening up that space in the mid-spine. And then before we go into rolling the shoulders, just take a moment to allow that movement to settle. Notice how that changes the way you stand. How's the breath? How's the body? How's the mind? Okay, rolling the shoulders, up at the front, down at the back. In your own time, probably following the breath. So it's quite nice to breathe in as the shoulders rise and breathe out as they release down. So we're releasing from mid-spine out through the shoulder blades into the shoulders. We can then extend the movement into the elbows. So the elbows can rise at the front and release at the sides. And make the movement bigger and bigger, out through wrists, hands and fingers. More of the spine opening. Creating space, releasing and relaxing. Really take the time to release. Really take the time to open up space. A few more times around. And then the next time the hands get to the top, allow them to pause at the top. Then we change direction, draw the hands down, relaxing down through the spine, all the way down to the tip of the tailbone. Take your time. Enjoy releasing and relaxing. Hands open to the sides. Draw chi down. Opening up space. Relax and release. A few more times. Just immersing yourself in the movement, enjoying the idea. Relaxing down through the whole of the spinal column, creating space. All the way down. And again, take a moment at the end of this cycle to relax the hands to the sides. And pause in just standing. Notice how it feels to stand now. Sometimes we'll Do a movement and it'll have a big effect. Sometimes it'll have a small effect. It will always change something. Next movement, raise the palms until they're at waist height and facing down, and then push down into the earth. So connecting down into Hunyuan-Qi. Then draw Hunyuan-Qi back into lower Dantian, back into the abdomen. Expand out. And gather back. Out. Back. Out. And back. Maybe once more in your own time, releasing out into the earth, expanding out, drawing back into lower Dantian, pausing just for a moment. And then lift Qi up, opening up the space between the vertebrae and connecting up into blue sky. Drawing blue sky down. Down to lower Dantian. Release up. Gather down. Up. And down. Pausing at lower Dantian when you get there. Take a moment. And then open elbows, open wrists, open arms, release out in all directions. Gather back from all directions. 3 times. Releasing out. Gathering back. Out. And gather back. Bring the mind home. Allow the mind to focus inside. Notice the space inside. Notice the ease of the breath, the state of the body. Then from the physical body, expand the awareness out into this idea of the Qi body, bigger than the physical body. In this space where Qi simply flows well. And then from this space, expand the awareness out again into this group. Have a look at the screen. All of us connected. All of us practicing together. Everyone supported. Everyone supporting this Qi field, this connection. One Qi field. Then expanding out again, out into Hunyuan-Qi, out into blue sky. Everything connected. Anything is possible. Gently draw blue sky back inside, draw Hunyuan-Qi back inside, with the intention for today of very relaxed. When we're relaxed, Qi flows well. Created plenty of space to relax and for Qi to flow well. And then pause with the hands in front of lower Dantian. just for a few breaths, focusing back into lower Dantian. Then release the hands to the sides. Just stand. Allow the body to gently sway. Okay, I was picking up a bit of sort of shoulder tension earlier, so we'll just do a little bit into shoulders. So take one of the thumbs, I don't mind which one, and turn it forwards. And then turn it back. Forwards, take your time. And back. And start to allow this movement to go slowly and simply flow from the thumb moving forwards to the thumb moving back. And then I want to extend the movement, and I want you to cheat. As the thumb turns and opens, allow it to keep going. Allow the body to turn and allow it to keep going. And then as it turns back in the other direction, the same again. Keep the thumb turning, allow the body to turn to support it moving around. As far as it will go, and then it flows back in the other direction. Moving easily from one place to the next. Using whatever movement in the body to help that flow occur. So maybe shifting the weight from one's leg to the other, turning the spine, anything to help the flow. A few more times. And then back to the center. And allow it to hang down in front and just give it a little bit of a shake. Let it go. Create a bit more space. And then stand up straight. And if you can see little images of people on the screen, point and laugh at everyone with a longer arm. No, don't. Okay, left hand, same. Thumb forwards. Thumb back. Start with small movement. And then gradually soften the movement. Allow it to flow more easily. And allow the movement to start to extend and start to get the body involved. So we're creating flow here. We're allowing the thumb to simply keep moving. And shifting the weight around, turning the spine. All of this just helps that thumb to keep moving. And the movement gets so big that forwards becomes backwards, backwards becomes forwards. We just enjoy this flow. Keep the thumb moving. A few more times. And then start to reduce the movement down and hang the arm down in front as the movement reduces. So you can just give it a bit of a shake and just let all of that space open up, let it relax. Then let both arms shake in front. Okay, turn both thumbs forwards, open front of body. Turn both thumbs back, open the back. So really taking our time today to get into these places. Forwards, open the front. Back, open the back. So we can go into quite large movements quite quickly here. It's just an idea of opening up space in the whole of the front of the body. Bow body down, open up space in the back. Open front. Open the back. Moving between the two. Effortlessly opening up space in the whole of the front of the body and the whole of the back. Keeping the legs straight as the body bows down to make sure we create as much space through the legs as we can. As the body rises, extending up to the tips of the fingers. As the body bows down, opening out to the ends of the toes. A few more times. Moving freely, moving easily. Noticing how that is for you today. Every day different. Okay. So the next time the hands get to the top, not this time, the next time, allow them to pause at the top. Allow the whole body to move freely when the hands get there. And then gently draw the hands down. Bring the awareness down into the top of the neck. And draw down through each vertebra of the neck. Down towards the mid-spine, then traveling down through the mid-spine. Down into the lumbar. Taking the awareness down to the tip of the tailbone. Out to the hips. Down through the legs. Knees, ankles and feet. Lift chi up. Draw chi down through the marrow as well as through the bones, down through the brain and the spinal column, and all of the vertebrae, bright and healthy. All the way down to the tip of the tailbone, opening out to the waist, opening out to the hips, down through the legs. Marrow is bright and healthy. Lift chi up. A couple more times. Draw chi down. The spine and the marrow. Bright and healthy. Down through the legs. Lift chi up. Once more, right the way through, drawing chi down through the whole body. Bright and healthy. Down through the legs. Lift chi up. And this time draw chi down to lower Dantian. Take your time, enjoy. And as the hands draw down this time, allow them to just bring the awareness down into lower Dantian. As I say, no hurry. Bring the mind back into lower Dantian. And then an idea. Open the elbows. Open the wrists. Open the arms. Expand out. Gather back. Expand out. gather back. Expand out and gather back. Now, somewhere in this process of expand out and gather back is your perfect stance. It's unlikely to be fully gathered back. It's probably with the elbows slightly open, the spine slightly open, and the hands just gently starting to draw back. But find that place that you can stand with the idea of the body, all of the space opened up, and the mind returning back into lower Dantian. It's a very relaxed state. Open, Qi flowing well, and the mind returning into lower Dantian. Effortless and relaxed. And we'll keep this posture quietly for maybe a minute or two. Quiet and centered. And then just to check how this has affected things, you can relax the hands down to whatever position feels comfortable for you. And we'll just take a few breaths standing. See how it feels to stand now. To use one more movement to affect the way we stand. And this one, we spiral the hands out, body straightens up, and we draw the hands back, squat down slightly. It's not a big movement in the body, it's a big movement in the mind, spiraling out into the blue sky, gathering Qi back inside. Spiraling out, gathering back. So all parts of the body, when we spiral out, we can create space absolutely anywhere and everywhere. And when we draw back, we can draw back blue sky into those spaces. So all of the stuff that we store deep inside, when we spiral out, we create space. When we gather back, we create the potential for change. Spiraling out, creating space. Drawing back potential for change. Continue. And this movement can change as well. So it's the opening of Tai Chi ball, but it can move wherever it needs to today. We won't go further than this movement today. It's like a large version of La Chi, spiraling out from all directions, from the center in all directions, from anywhere in the body, from everywhere in the body, drawing Qi back. Each time you spiral out, different places can open. Or more space can open in the places that you focus into. always changing, always creating space. Continue. Okay, we'll make the movement a little bit more challenging. We'll create space in a slightly different way. We'll increase it slightly. So allow one hand to spiral out first and gather back. Then let the other hand spiral out and gather back. And as you do this, maybe both hands start moving at the same time and the body starts turning. But just constantly creating space and gathering chi back. We now have the idea of constant change, constantly creating space, constantly drawing blue sky back inside. All the time changing. The movement always different. Staying with the process. A few more times. Gathering chi back. And then before we come back into one last piece of standing, allow the hands to start to coordinate again. So as they draw back, allow them to both come back to lower Dantian. And then both spiral out. And gather back 3 times. And on the 3rd time, allow the movement to gently come to a stop. Allow yourself to just stand in all of that space that you've created. In that chi body, chi flowing well. Mind quiet and centered. And we're in the chi body, so the awareness is bigger than the body itself. The awareness is connected out in all directions. But the mind simply sits quietly in lower Dantian and enjoys the awareness. Quiet and still. Staying with this for a little while longer. A few more breaths. Quiet and centered. And then gently lift Bachwei, stand up straight. Draw the feet closer together. And lift Qi up into the blue sky. All the way up. Connected up and connected down. Open the hands out to the sides, the mind expanding out in all directions. And then at shoulder height, the palms turn to face up and the hands move forwards. And then connecting back into the center of the head, upper Dantian. Clear and bright, full of blue sky. Elbows draw back close to the body, middle fingers connect to the sides of the chest, connecting into the center of the chest. Middle Dantian, Hunyuan Palace. All functions normal. Everything healthy. Qi is abundant. Then fingers push back into the space behind and open out the sides. Unwinding and expanding out. And then drawing Qi back into lower Dantian. One hand rests on the other, rests on the navel. Lower Dantian, Qi is abundant. And the mind rests in lower Dantian. Taking a few breaths here. Again, staying in this relaxed state, release the hands to the sides and ease out quite slowly. Take your time. Really take how it feels. And coming back.